Going back to, some songs are inspired and some songs I labor over. It took me so long to write this song. I had this great idea for a song, so I thought, you guys will be the judge of it. I had this great idea for a song, and I decided I was going to start hashing it out, and it was just lists and lists and words, and it took me forever to finally get this thing completed. It stemmed from listening to like classic country and vintage country radio and realizing I used to go to this bar called the Boatel, and it was like a boat on the river, but it was permanently moored. There's nowhere for it to go, and then ultimately it burned down and they built this new one just off the water. Anyway, I would go in there some days at like 3 in the afternoon, because that's where the most colorful people in bars are. When you go in the middle of the day, and it's like usually retired people, and they're just in their day drinking. And I would go in, and they had they had 2 just beater, horrible guitars in there. You could almost tune them. You could sort of sympathetically tune it to itself, and then just gradually let it go back out of tune as you played it. One of them was like a jumbo, and it said Maya on it. Nobody knew who Maya was, but anyway. So I would go in and I would play music in there. And I'd play old classic country songs, because that's what all these folks listened to. I mean, they were all older folks, like I say, retired, and they were talking about the pipeline days. This was back when I was living in Alaska. They were talking about the pipeline days and, how good things used to be. And so I'd go in and I'd start playing some Merle Haggard and Buck Owens and stuff. And a lot of the bars up there would give you drink coins. They'd give you these wooden nickels that had their logo stamped on it. And I could go in and buy a beer, and I could sit in there as long as I wanted for the rest of the day. And I would leave still with a stack of these wooden drink tokens, because they never got to hear these songs anywhere else. One night I was leaving, and then there was a switchover where all of the young folks would come in like after work, and if you stayed too late, then the really young folks would come in at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and that was like the, hey, like that was the late crowd. But the bartender switched over right at about 7, and I remember this girl that was bartending one day. She was like, you're not a bad-looking guy, and you got a pretty good voice. But do you think you're going to pick any of these girls up singing their grandfather's songs around here? I was like, well, no, I'm not trying to pick anybody up. I'm actually here to entertain the grandfathers. Like, I'm just here for myself to do this. And it dawned on me, like, none of these younger folks knew who any of these people were. When I was like, oh, no, that's an old Merle Haggard song. Or that's an old Buck Owens song. I realized none of them had any idea. And the thought occurred to me, well, hell, I bet they think Tennessee Ernie Ford is a Ford dealership down on the service road. Like, they don't even know who Tennessee Ernie Ford is. And so it was like, aha. Like 5 months later, I think, 4 months later, I finally finished this song. It almost took as long to write it as it has taken me to tell the story. I'm closing in on it. So anyway, this song is called You Can't Drive a Tennessee Ernie Ford. You can't hop a boxcar wheelie or scare Teddy Crow out of your corn. There's not one picture hanging on a Tom T. Hall. You can't take a bath in Ernest tub or make a whistle from a jury. Come the winter time, you won't see Hank Snowfall. You can't cash the Johnny paycheck or pass the Buck Owens. Your tires will never go Lester flat. Now the haggis sure don't lay little Jimmy Dickens is no baby. Don't go see Doc Watson if you're feeling bad. And you can't drive a Tennessee Ernie Ford. Not if you had a license or a safe driver award. Not even if you went and got permission from the Lord. You can't drive a Tennessee Ernie Ford. Can't buy nothing with Johnny Cash, and a possum ain't that sticky. Can't make earrings from a mini pearl. Can't flat pick a Jimmy Martin or get flour from Roger Miller and the red-headed strangers known around the world. You can't drive a Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Not if you had a license or safe driver award. Not even if you went and got permission from the Lord. No, you can't drive a Tennessee Ernie Ford. Make your way to the kitchen on your wobbly legs. Make yourself some biscuits and thank old Big Fat John that you can have anything with eggs. Yes, you can have anything with eggs.